Hi everyone, and welcome to our course on generational chaos and consequences. If you follow generational study at all, then you're likely familiar with those four large groups that we're all aware of: boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. Although these are great guardrails to follow in generational study, they are becoming a bit antiquated, which I think is proven best by pointing to when each of these generations were first established. Boomers in 1977, Gen X back in 1965, so somehow before that. Millennials were first mentioned in 1991, when the majority of the generation were either not born yet or still in diapers. And even Gen Z, first established just about 10 years ago or so, is rapidly outgrowing their original definition. This is especially true in the past year. If there's anything this past year has taught us, it's that all trends are disrupted because consumer motivations change in volatile times, and subsequently, so do generational trends. Now, in the realm of path dependency, generational behavior is predictable because it's a very simple formula of life experiences up until that point and the life stage that a consumer is at. However, that sort of trajectory of what it means to age is not that linear once we introduce those phases of crisis and chaos. Now we're at a phase where we must prepare for the recharting, where generational traits may become entirely reset and become redefined because what it means to be a certain age is completely different than what it was in the past. So put simply, generational trends must move faster than ever to keep up with the nuances of consumer behavior. Now, of course, we're talking about this through the context of everything that's happened in the past year with the pandemic and a sort of political reckoning, but questions of identity were already at the forefront as soon as social media became the main form of communication, because we saw consumers who were starting to think of themselves and their relationship with others in completely different lights. What it meant to be an individual in the world also included what it meant to project your identity into the online space. And the ability to connect with people halfway across the world changed how people viewed their own sense of self. Now, put simply, with or without the crisis and chaos, consumers today are more connected, they're more identity focused, they're more community minded, and they're much more nuanced than they've ever been. Now, to try to get to this idea of nuance, we split those four generations we're all familiar with into 9 micro-generations. This takes a closer look at each of these micro-generations' life stages and how they internalized what they've experienced up until that point. And this is what we'll be talking about today. Now, I'll walk you through all 4 of those large generations and each of the micro-generations within them. We'll take a look at the crisis that they've experienced up until this point to inform what we can expect from them in the recharting.